Elizabeth Smart found alive today around 2 o'clock this afternoon in Sandy City, right outside Salt Lake City. And we, of course, have a team of reporters in the field right now and trying to get reaction to this, what we can only say is an extraordinary and stunning development in the 9-month disappearance of Elizabeth Smart.
It was a stunning disappearance, a stunning turn of events. Sunday marks 20 years since Elizabeth Smart was rescued after she was kidnapped from her bedroom in Salt Lake City. She was just 14 years old at the time, and she survived 9 months in captivity. She was found after someone reported seeing her, and police were able to reunite her with her family. And since then, she has worked to help other survivors of abuse, attending events nationwide and delivering a message of hope. In 2011, she founded the nonprofit Elizabeth Smart Foundation, and 10 years later, she created a self-defense program called, I like this name, Smart Defense. And this week, she's launching a new online course called Wholehearted Consent. It teaches teenagers how to set boundaries and stop unwanted advances before they happen. Elizabeth Smart, we're happy to say, joins us in the studio. Elizabeth Smart, every time I see you, honestly, it makes my heart sing. I remember that day so vividly when the news broke. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that you had survived. I couldn't believe that you were alive, and it just made me so happy that you had gotten through this. So when you think of this day approaching, is it something you dread? Will it be just another day for you? What does it mean to you?
March 12th is nothing but a good day, nothing but a happy day. I mean, the biggest miracle of my life happened on March 12th, so it's definitely a good day.
Yeah, and that when they first found you, you had to say to police, and you were reluctant to even identify yourself, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the previous 9 months, I had been threatened and I'd been abused, and I mean, I'd lived in a state of terror and fear, and so speaking out felt like it could possibly be endangering myself, and my sense of self-preservation, I think, was so high, was so strong. It had kept me alive for 9 months that it was scared to do anything that like my inner self would view as a risk.
Yeah. I mean, you have talked about this publicly, you've written about it, but I think about a girl at 14 who had had no sexual experience, who really didn't know about sex, and yet you were raped for 9 months. You're raped every day for 9 months, and yet you emerge seemingly very poised, seemingly very confident, with a lot of compassion. How were you able to do this? How were you able to fall in love and be intimate with anybody?
I mean, it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
And had I come home from being kidnapped and then like expected to jump into an intimate and physically intimate relationship the day after, I don't think I could have. I mean, that would have been too much. But I mean, I was still a kid when I came back, so I was able to go to high school, and then I was able to go to college, and I was able to have these different experiences, and they really came on my own terms.
Yeah.
So that by the point that I did engage in physical intimacy, it was my choosing, and it was with someone that I trusted with my life and my heart. And
you've said you know the difference between the two, between a loving relationship and something, yeah.
That's exactly it. I think there's a huge difference between what loving intimacy, sexual relationship is versus rape and sexual violence.
Your mom gave you the best advice. What did your mom say to you?
Well, first of all, my mom's never let me feel sorry for myself, ever. Whenever, like, I was upset as a kid, she'd always say things like, "What do you do when a horse bucks you off?" And I'd always be like, I hated it. I loathed it back then. But I'd be like, you get back on.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like that really was something she tried to instill in all of us growing up. So the day after I was rescued, she said to me, "Elizabeth, what this man has done to you is terrible. There aren't words strong to describe how wicked and evil he is. He's stolen 9 months of your life that you will never get back.
Yeah.
But the best punishment you could ever give him is to be happy."
Yeah, don't let him steal another day. And you are happy. You have a husband, you have 3 children. And you said now that this week you're launching, you want to focus on consent for kids. What do you mean by that? What do you want them to know?
I want them to understand what consent is and what it isn't. I mean, I have met so many survivors who, I mean, unfortunately, most victims who experience rape actually know the perpetrator, and a lot of times it's with their intimate partner. Mm-hmm. It's with the person that they choose to spend their time and their trust with, and they don't understand what consent is. I mean, if
so
someone...
how would your program work?
So it's 6 modules. It's about 38 videos, 38 short videos, but it really makes you figure out what you are comfortable with. It's not me telling you, like, this is okay, this is not okay. I could never do that.
Yeah.
Nor do I have any desire to do that. It's making you really stop, try to understand the concept, and then stop and make you think about, what are you okay with? What are your boundaries? So that should you ever find yourself in that circumstance, you know what your boundary is, and you know when that boundary is being crossed, and you can stand up for yourself. Because if you don't know what your boundary is and something happens, I mean, that can have devastating effects.
Yes.
I mean, it can follow you and shadow you for years to come, and that's not fair. That's not right.
You are giving people a voice to something that they might not have thought about. And I have to say, when I went to the lobby and I said, "Where's Elizabeth Smart?" They said, "She's sitting over there." I go, "No, Elizabeth is blonde. Who is that redhead?" You changed your hair. You look good. You feel good.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, yeah.
And you travel all by yourself. I go, "Elizabeth, where are your people?" You go, "It's just me."
It's just
life
me.
is good for you. People would want to know. Your life
is great. Yeah.
Life is great.
I mean, it's exhausting. I've got more laundry than I know what to do with,
Yeah.
but it's wonderful. I wouldn't change it.
I so admire you, Elizabeth. I'm so sorry you went through that, but I'm so happy that you came out on the other side. And now you really have devoted your life to helping others. That is what you do. Bravo and congratulations. It's always good to see you, always.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.